Joining me now is Admiral James Stavridis. He spent more than 30 years in the Navy, rising to become the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO. He's also the co-author with Elliot Ackerman of a recent and terrific novel called 2054. Admiral, this looks like sophisticated theater. In other words, it's got to take an awful lot of planning to fire so many weapons back and forth without hitting anybody. So either that was deliberate or both sides are incompetent. Explain.
I think both sides are signaling. And so a way to think of it is Iran sent a mob, 350 drones, cruise missiles, ballistics, sent a mob to try and get into the house. I don't think Iran wanted to miss everything, but I think they thought they'd get 10% of those missiles would get through. Nothing got through. It basically all got stopped outside the house, outside the air defense lines of Israel. Then Israel responds, Michael, and here's the really interesting signal. Instead of going big and launching a shock and awe attack against targets all across Iran, Israel, in effect, became a burglar, sent 3 missiles into Isfahan in the dead center of Iran, near their nuclear facilities. It'd be like a burglar breaking into your house, going to your safe, and then putting a yellow sticky on it saying, I'll be back anytime I want to. These are kind of two different signals. I think both landed, and that's why you're seeing both sides now trying to ratchet this thing down.
Does it make it more difficult for the next time to know whether the other side really means it?
It does, and therein lies the danger. You've probably read Barbara Tuchman's magisterial book about how Europe stumbled into the First World War, the guns of August. This is kind of the missiles of April, and as in the guns of August in 1914, there was a lot of signaling, mobilization of military, lots of back and forth. They still miscalculated. They still entered an epic war, World War I. Hopefully, the two sides here will avoid the missiles of April becoming like the guns of August, where we end up in a big war. I think we can avoid that.
I get that Israel put a post-it note on the safe in Iran to let them know they were there. This after President Biden apparently told Prime Minister Netanyahu to take the win. Is that more signaling? Was Biden saying what he needed to say for his constituency and Netanyahu doing what he needed to do to appease the Israelis?
I think on the part of President Biden, he sincerely and correctly wants this situation to come down from the fever pitch of 3 to 5 days ago. On the side of Netanyahu, he has conflicting advice, even within his war cabinet. I'm sure there were voices in Israel calling for Israel to go big. I think Netanyahu took the advice from President Biden, but still sent a pretty direct signal to satisfy his constituencies within that war cabinet, Michael.
The use of all this high-tech weaponry is like straight out of your novel, 2054, which speaks of the singularity. What is that, and what is it that you're forecasting in the book?
2054 is about geopolitics and artificial intelligence at its heart. The singularity is a term that was coined by a futurist 20 years ago, Ray Kurzweil. Singular means bringing together the biological, who you are, Michael, your brain, your memories, your proclivities, your preferences, your humanity with the mechanical, with the internet, and connecting the two. And it sounds far-fetched, but walk down the street in Manhattan, 9/10 of the people have their nose 1 inch from the internet. It's called an iPhone. Elon Musk has already created something like a neural link that goes into the brain and brings the internet essentially directly into the brain. So I think it's very real to think about the singularity by 2054 being both of immense benefit, but also danger and potential malevolence. We explore both of those themes in the novel 2054.
The novel is great, and it's one of those reads where you scratch your head and you say, is that true? Is that what's coming? Admiral, congratulations, and thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Michael.